2 interviews for basically fast food. Can't believe fucking Nooks made me do 2 interviews, and at the end of the second one they just said they'll call me tomorrow if I'm hired, and they didn't call OFC 2 15-minute interviews. WTF. Edit, they also had the audacity to ask why Nooks. Boss called me untrustworthy and a liar for having a day off work to grieve my father figure being in hospice. This happened about 6 months ago and I've since left that job, but it still burns me up when I think about it. A Friday morning I was driving to work, I got a phone call from a family member telling me the man that raised me was in hospice and was only expected to live a couple of days. I broke down. This man was the most important person in my life, and he was more than a father figure, he was also my best friend. I went into work holding back my tears, waiting for management to get off the phone so I could speak to him. The foreman approached me and asked if I was okay. I couldn't speak without ugly crying in the middle of the workshop. The foreman said, "Is it about your pop?" I nodded my head with tears rolling down my cheeks. "Go home." So I did. The next morning I came into work, explained to the foreman that he is in hospice and we're waiting for him to die. The foreman told management, who then accused me of lying about his death to get a day off work. He was furious. "Why would you lie about something like that?" I said, "I never said he was dead. Am I seriously in trouble for fucking grieving?" I handed in my resignation for other reasons. Management said, "Well, you're untrustworthy and a liar anyway." I've never experienced such deep-seated anger and hurt in my life. It was 6 months ago, but I'm still so hurt and think I will call the Fair Work Commission and ask for advice. This experience fucking broke me. Can't believe my character and integrity was insulted for grieving. I feel like the general public around me, even older people, are starting to understand that the old adages that go something like "they deserve it, work hard, play hard, get a degree and doors will open, gotta save and invest, etc. are just bullshit that rich people like to spew. In place of the real advice that comes from rich people, which is basically 2 steps for your entire life. Have rich parents that give birth to you. Fuck everyone except yourself. No, but polemics aside, I'm starting to see older people take a more cynical approach to that whole meritocracy bullshit that we've all been fed us in our youths. Glassdoor is hiding and or removing bad reviews for companies. The company I used to work for was notorious for having a toxic work environment. When searching for the company, it used to show just how terrible it was to work there. Now all the reviews and company pages are gone. Another related page shows an error page. Stay safe out there, guys. I just got back from a job interview and I need to know if this is a red flag. I had an interview today, and when I got there the manager welcomed me and took me to the back to interview me, or at least that's what I thought he was gonna do. All he did was ask me what hours I can work, then said that I'll have to spend 45 minutes training with another employee learning the system and other duties. This is all unpaid work. And he was only there for 2 minutes before leaving the store. And just before he left he asked if I would be able to work at 2 locations, and that if I work hard enough and do what's not in my job description I'll get paid $18 instead of $15, the minimum wage in my province. And he said that me working at 2 different locations is a great opportunity because I'd get more training. And at the very end of the interview the girl who was training me was trying to suggest that I stay longer. And like I said, this was all unpaid. I don't know, this rubbed me the wrong way, but my parents want me to take it if I do get it. But these just felt like red flags. And just not what I'm looking for at all. But I need to know if I'm in the right to think that what the company did was a red flag, cause so far everyone is telling me it's not. Workplace is compromising security of employees in order to follow corporate procedure. I work in a cannabis shop. My entire time there, 1.2 years, we have been promised security guards and an upgraded door/locking system. We have gone through 3 different security companies that have not worked out and currently only have security guard for designated hours in the PM, if the security guard shows up. A few weeks ago the company finally installed a locking mechanism on the door that can be controlled by remote. My team was super excited about this feature as we all felt more safe on the inside with locked doors, being able to let one customer in at a time. Today when the general manager came in, they told me we were going to have an employee outside the door to check people in. I feel as though this defeats the purpose of having a remote lock installed and puts an employee at higher risk if someone decided to rob us, again. After a 20-minute conversation with the GM about how the employees don't feel safe with someone outside letting people in, and that it defeats the purpose of the new doors being installed, I was told to go home. It's a terrible feeling knowing that your employer does not care about your personal safety and that the corporate process planned by people who haven't even stepped foot in the building holds more power than the actual people working there every day. I think my boss is homophobic. I don't want to give away my location, but let's just say my city is well known for being very gay-friendly and having more gays and lesbians per capita than the national average. Anyway, today I handed my coworker of the same sex a flower and another coworker said, "Ah, he's gay. It's okay, we live in redacted. Then my boss added, "Good thing I don't live here." This really bothers me, but I don't want to put up too much of a fuss about it because I just got this job and I really need it. I didn't get paid for training new hires. The professional trainers at my company make way more than I do. Quick background, I'm a case manager and I work from home. I was told by upper management that the new hires would just shadow me, aka I share my screen and sound as I work. They said it's not training because they were told not to ask any questions. Well, of course, they did ask questions and it took up a lot of my work time. I could have handled it differently and told them to save the questions for the trainers, but my task at the time was super complicated and I was recording the session, as instructed. It was a huge dodge on management's part and gave the actual trainers a huge break. It's also a slap in the face because they want to keep using me because I'm the best case manager there is. And yet I get paid the same as everyone else and no one else is getting shadowed. Annoyed. If the office didn't exist, I like to ask, would we invent it? And if we invented it, what would it be invented for? Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky asking some real questions in the midst of tons of CEOs ranting and raving about the need for on-site work. Seriously, some good food for thought. If we didn't already have the modern-day office set up as we have come to know it, would we really even see it as a need at this point? So many people have found more time and freedom for things that actually matter in life through remote work, but companies are pushing so hard to take that away again. The pandemic forced companies to see what has already been a possibility for years, and that is the fact that tons of jobs can be done without wasting your life away in a dreary office. Doing the same job as my peers, same responsibility, but getting paid 20% less as they're on a different banding. Asked to put together reasons I feel I deserve the same pay today. Spent some time trying to get my head round this. Do I put those reasons together and write up something about how great I am, or do I just write the simple fact that I'm doing the same job as them in every aspect, not even slightly different, but I'm the one having to get a second job to make ends meet? Feels completely dehumanizing. Been told they may refuse a promotion as they don't have the funds. Am I being mental or is this completely not my problem? I can't even pretend that I care. I'm so fucking sick of having my time on this planet wasted doing stupid shit I need to be high to tolerate. For what to support an existence forced upon me, and now I'm supposed to be grateful. While dumb assholes inherit the earth. But sure, let me go work some bullshit job 40 hours a week so I can have health insurance. Cause nothing breeds resentment like having your health held hostage, right? Advice needed, crazy manager trying to kick me out. Can someone give helpful advice on here? I'm in process of trying to quit this job, and looking for better opportunities, but for now, stuck here. There is this crazy manager, who I will call Darren, not his real name, who keeps nitpicking every little thing I do, and I highly suspect it's in retaliation of another manager kicking his star employee out. Of course, I'm in the middle of this BS, and I got the *TTY job of taking over this star employee's job, with no extra pay OFC but way more responsibility. I did not want that job, because I knew how a holish Darren was, but I did because no one has been hired for the last year. As you can see, this company is so popular /s. I'm literally at the point of screenshotting everything because he questions every single thing that at one point I legitimately thought I was bad at my job. What should I do to protect myself? I need this job until I get a new one. Please help me, I feel like I'm underwater and struggling to breathe. I asked for equal pay. Those who stood up for me got fired. So, I found out that I was making 20% less than the men with the same job title as me at my company. I work at an online publication. I am the only woman in a senior role, and I am the only racial minority they've had since the last person ran screaming from the building after 2 months. Previously, no one could put up with my boss, because quite frankly he's a lot. I got a much milder version of the guy because he had kids by the time I joined, and I think he was just too exhausted to scream and yell at people like he used to. I've worked at my job for several years. It's considered a good company. It's on the smaller side, and they take work-life balance a lot more seriously than previous places I worked. Naively, I thought that maybe the low pay was a trade-off for a better work environment. You know, one where you have a boss who might tell your coworker to go kill himself, true story, but no one wants you to work weekends. A few months ago, someone in HR accidentally emailed me a document with the salaries of several of my coworkers. It was shockingly more than mine, even though I had the same title as one of the people on the document. I asked the other guys in my department, with my title, what they were making, and everyone was making the same amount. I was making 20% less. I would understand if we were all making different amounts and maybe mine happened to be the lowest, not a great scenario, but still, however everyone else was making the same amount. I asked the guys in my department if they would help me get a pay bump so I was making the same amount as they were. They all agreed. A lot happened after that. I don't want to go into too much detail, because this is still a pretty anonymous account for me and also I feel fucking guilty for how things played out. I was told that I wasn't worth more money. That I broke company policy by discussing pay. That whole thing. Long story short, only one of the guys who helped me out works there now. The two were fired for speaking up for me, because they thought they were trying to start a union. With Vox, Vice, and others joining the UGA, I guess it's a fear of theirs. One other guy left before he could get fired. I'm leaving the company, because I can't work at a place that disrespects like that. The only reason they didn't fire me was because they couldn't without it looking more awful than they already looked. I don't know what to do. I feel awful that this whole thing cost 3 guys their jobs. They have kids and mortgages and car payments. I'll be fine. But I just feel fucking betrayed.